Hey guys, it's Justin again with another video for Tutorial Tuesday. This is one that people have been asking for a really long time, and I wasn't really sure how to approach it. But I'm going to kind of break it up into a couple pieces and kind of, I guess, show you in different steps how to, I guess, do this. Again, with everything else that I do, I'm no professional at this. I don't know all the techniques. I'm just trying to give you some groundwork and you can build from there. So this is going to be a tutorial on scribing. Lots of people have asked for it, and I didn't feel that I'd done it enough or that I do it enough to merit a tutorial, but here I am. So the first thing we're going to go over is materials. You're just going to need a couple of things. You're going to need a thick sheet of styrene. This is, I believe, it's probably like 2 millimeters. We're going to go over basics right now. This is going to be scribing practice, scribing lines, scribing designs, things like that. So you're going to need about, I'm going to say just as long as it's thicker than 1 millimeter. Because you can get these really thin ones. And it's like, I mean, you can scribe this, yes, but you're not going to get anything out of that. So I'm going to recommend something thick, because you're going to essentially translate this onto pieces at some point. So you need a thick sheet. A knife, very useful for a lot of reasons. There's a scribing tool. I have two different ones. I have this like needle scriber. It's more like a pen. And then there's this thing which Dave sent me, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna be using the let's do, I guess, what is this? No, too small. Let's do 0.6, I guess. No, that's too thick. 0.3. And it comes with different blades in different thicknesses. So I'm going to be using the 0.3 millimeter today. I think that should be sort of somewhere between what your panel lines would look like on a between a high grade and a master grade, I suppose. You might need a pencil. You're definitely going to need Dymo tape. This, you can get like 4 or 5 packs of this online. It's not super expensive. It might be going up now because I don't see as many like of these kinds of label makers anymore. So you might have to find specific scribing tape. And I'm going to recommend a panel liner just so you can look at your work. So we're going to get this out of the way. I just wanted to show you how big that was. We're going to start with this. You're going to want to cut it into like a small square kind of thing. It doesn't have to be perfect as long as it's small enough to work on. And the way that I cut this is, excuse me, you just take your knife a couple times, and you just very lightly go over it a couple times, and then you start bearing down more and more and more, and then you should be able to just snap it. So there you go. So for the sake of, doing it, here's the piece that I just cut out. We'll use that. Again, it doesn't need to be perfect, although that's another thing I forgot to mention. You'll need sandpaper. You might want to just smooth it out a little bit. Make sure there's none of those edges are sticking out from where you cut it or folded it. Okay, so scribing is one of the most well-known ways you can add detail to any model kit. Excuse me. Lots of modelers, lots of people add detail to their models using scribing. It's a really cool technique, and it requires a lot of practice. It requires a little bit of know-how. Because you can't just kind of scribe lines all willy-nilly however you want and expect to get fantastic results. There has to be a little bit of rhyme and reason to what you're doing in order to make your work pop, I would guess would be the best way to say it. So I've taken this Dymo tape, I've cut it into pieces about this long. It doesn't matter how long it is, and then I cut those in half. If you want to cut those in half again, you can. I'm not going to. I don't really see a lot of need in it. But I've also got these pieces that I used last night on something I was working on, and we're going to start super basic stuff here. So we're going to start just by scribing a line, just a straight line. So go ahead and pop this off of here, the backing. This is probably the hardest part of the whole process, because sometimes the backing doesn't want to come off. And we're just going to lay that flat. It doesn't matter if it goes across this way, it doesn't matter if it's this way, just however you want to put it. We're just going to scribe a straight line. Now, this is where options come in. If you don't have a scribing tool, you can use your knife. I'm not really going to recommend it. It's not the most accurate, and it's really easy where it's so small to just kind of cut into your tape. So I'm going to recommend that you do invest in a scribing tool, even if it's this. This is not the best scribing tool, but it will work. So essentially all you're going to do is you're going to take this, and you're just going to very gently, almost no pressure whatsoever, trace this line. And you want to drag it off the part. And then you want to flip it around, and you want to do it again the other way. And that's basically it. I mean, from there you can see that there's a line clearly scribed in there. So we'll take our sandpaper, we will sand that out. There's another reason your knife is handy. You can use the back end of your knife, which you can also use to scribe, but get all the dust out. And there you have a nice clean line. It's a little, still got a little bit of a lip on it. There we go. That should be better. Much better. Okay. So now, let me try and zoom in on this for you a little bit so you can see it. Now I should be able to take my panel liner, and it should, hopefully, I might need to, it should flow right through this line, no problem. Boom. So that worked just as well as I wanted it to. I'll take a little bit of paper towel. Let that dry for a moment. Put some lighter fluid on this. And there we go. Scribed line. Super clean. So that worked out great. Now, the most confusing thing about panel lining is that you're not just scribing straight lines, you're scribing designs. And there's a trillion ways to go about this. A lot of people like to kind of sketch their design, so let's do like a little 3-part scribe. And we will do it, we'll actually do it off our original line. So we'll go like this, like this, and then like this. So something like this. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is practice, remember. So something like that. You'll see a lot of those. Now, again, like I said, this is where things are going to get a little tricky. Because instead of just scribing one straight line all the way through, you're scribing multiple lines. And this is where people start to get, I guess, intimidated or confused. I know I did. What we're going to do is we're going to take a short piece of tape. We're going to cut the backing off. And I've found that where you start your line is incredibly important. You don't want to start here in the middle. That's the biggest thing, is you don't want to start in the middle. You want to start either here or here, because you have something to scribe into or off of. So for the sake of ease, we're going to go ahead and scribe this line right here, and you want to put it so that you can see where your line is starting and ending. And I'm going to recommend that you scribe starting where your line is and off the piece. So we're going to use the scriber for this one. Let me zoom back out and I'll show you again the same technique. It's no different. You put your scriber down and you very gently pull it across the surface. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that should be good for that. Now you can reuse this tape as long as it's got tack to it. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this right here. Now, again, you want something to scribe into. So this line is already here. So you're going to want to scribe this way, that way. So starting where the next line is going to be, you just drag it across. It should, if you don't apply any pressure, stop. 4, 5, 6. And then we'll do one last line. And this one, where it's the last line, it doesn't really matter where you start, but we're going to just keep with the theme of starting on the last line. 3, 4, 5, 6. So now we have scribed our line. And the hardest part of this whole process is keeping this clean. So now we're going to go back and we're going to scribe at least half as many times, go in the opposite direction. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we'll sand it off. And see how we did. And it looks good, just like the last one. So that's going to be it for this one. When I get some more practice in, we will go into, like, I don't want to call it scribing theory, but more into like the 3 lines rule and some other things, and then we'll talk about making duplicate scribes. We'll talk about scribing onto actual pieces and things like that. But this is basically something you should look like, and I would recommend just keep practicing, keep scribing on these lines, keep going, make it look different. And you can actually you know, judging or going by the Scratch Build Manual or Scratch Build Revolution book, you can turn these into bases for your figures. So if you have a figure you like, you can spruce it up and slap a figure on there, and then you've got a little base for him. So that's going to be it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys learned something, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.